Harley Street Glide Special Edition 2014. I'm going to be installing this Hawg wired 150 watt amp, 75 watt speakers into there. Had to buy the wiring kits additional. I got this off of eBay, which is why it looks used, because it is. Quick thing, already pulled off the seat, saddlebags, and side panels. You don't need to take off the saddlebags or side panels for this project, but I just like to get anything out of the way I could possibly scratch. I don't really need to show you how to pull those off, because if you can't figure out how to pull off your side panels, saddlebags, and seat, you should punch yourself in the face. Moving on. You're going to need to take off your tank if you're going to wire it to the battery. You can also wire it within the fairing, but as most people would know, you don't really want to blow out a system you don't want to overpower a system by wiring your amp into another system. Preferably you want to wire it straight to the battery, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing. If you want it to look neat, you're going to want to run it through the wireway that's under the tank, which is going to require you to take the tank off. So take the fairing off. It's 7 bolts. These 3 here that coincidentally hold on your windshield. Then you got 1 here, 1 here. And then same on the other side. I recommend taking these off first, and then taking these off, because you can stand in front of your bike, like so. Take these bolts off, and then remove your fairing, as opposed to standing behind it, taking off the other bolts, and then your fairing falls off. Don't really want that. Alright. So, you're here. If you got this, like I do, you probably don't, because I had to get the special done. By the way, forgive the dirtiness. It's been really rainy lately. I'll clean it up after I get this project done. I didn't see the point beforehand. If you look in there, you can see 2 little indents right there. It's easier to get this done to take that off before you start messing with everything. A little tool like that, stick it in there, turn it. There's a little ring, comes off. Once you take this piece off, it's hard to hold everything together and pull that ring off. So yeah, that's just a little tip. If you don't have that, you don't have to worry about it, because you don't really need to worry about that. Take the tank off. You're going to take this bolt off here, and this bolt right here. Really kind of hard to get to, and that'll remove this piece. And then keep in mind, you still have underneath here, after you pull it off, you're going to have your overflow, and it's going to be stuck around here. So you got to make sure you take the gas cap off, which I'm going to take off now before I forget. You're going to need, this is going to have to come straight up, and your overflow line connects right here. You can just pull it off from below. And then after you get that off, there's a bolt right there and a bolt right there, and then the bolt on this side, which is hard to see after you pull off the cover, right there. And there's one on the other side, and that's how you get the tank off. Now, those are the only bolts holding it down. But come over to this side. Yeah, this thing right here, your fuel line. All right. Against my better judgment, I'm gonna do this without a rag, just because, so you can see how much fuel actually comes out of here. You're going to push up and pull down. Stuck a little. Anyway, see a little bit of fuel. I think I've got about 3/4 of a tank in the thing now, and that's all the fuel that came out. It's a little ball valve. Ideally, you're going to want a rag when you pull this off, just to catch any random fluid that comes out, or any random gas that comes out. Alright, we're going to pause for now, and then we'll come back to this after I have the tank and the fairing pulled apart. Alright, so I got all the bolts out. I have taken off the windshield. I'm putting it right here temporarily. A lot of times after you pull these bolts out and you go to pull this fairing off, it'll stick to it and it'll give you the false insecurity thing and it'll stay on there. but as soon as you go to set it down, it'll fall, so you don't want to scratch your shield. So pull it off before you start pulling this off. Now, once you rock this back, the back of your headlight, there's two plugs here and here. You need to pinch them together, pull them off. I'm going to need two hands to do it, so I'm going to put the camera down. But once these two plugs are off, you can pull your front of your fairing away. Alright, so tank's off. You can see the wireway right here. Actually has this cover on it, but it's pretty simple to get off. Has little tabs that go into here. As you can see right there. Just use a screwdriver, work your way around. There's tabs up front and the back, so keep that in mind. This is where I'm going to run the power cables for the amp through. Now, the part that a lot of people get confused about, how to get to the battery. So there's two bolts right here, which I've already loosened, and then you got to get these out right here. Now, you just have little pull tabs, which are a pain in the ass, which, upon retrospect, probably should have pulled these out before. There we go. This right here just slides out, and then this stupid thing comes right out, and this, your control module. Little tabs right here on the side, and there. This is hard to do one-handed, but not impossible. Set this off to the side. Now, this is there's a little catch up front. So a little metal piece of that. Just get around that, and there's your battery. So positive lead, negative lead. That's where I'm going to connect to. If you already see those wires that are already connected there, that's for my LEDs. So I'm gonna have to work around those. Alright, so I got my main power wire, ground wire connected. Now I connected straight to the battery just because I just hate having a bad ground, and that'll work just fine. And the wire's long enough. So I got to run it through, all the way up through there. Coming out right here. So I'm all set to go. They're both already crimped. I don't feel like redoing it. They are a little long, but whatever, it'll work. Now, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble all of this because I actually have nothing to do with the rest of this. Everything else can be done up front. I will say that I routed the main power wire through here. That way the fuse is going to be along with all my other fuses. Now, if you notice I have the fuse left out, that's because that wire hanging up front would be live if I had the fuse in. So now that wire's not live and pretty well safe to work with. So I'm going to go put this all back together and then show you how I'm going to connect the front once I figure it out. Alright, so this was a son of a bitch. I got half, here, trying a little light in there. Got half of it off, you can see the other half still on there. I got this speaker off. There is a butt ton of screws all around the outside here. And then there are actually 3 of them down under here and then 2 on top. But the 3 down here are a pain in the ass to get to. Good luck. The speaker box, I guess, is new to the 14s. And also, since I have this off, I think I'm going to go ahead and replace this grill here. I don't have the part on me, so I'm probably going to have to buy it. And then, the funner part. Harley says it's a 5.25 inch speaker, which is exactly what this is, with a crazy long ass metal bracket on it. So, you take another 5.25 inch speaker from Hawg, put it in, it doesn't fit. So I'm going to have to rig something up. Get back to you on that. Alright, so a couple days later, back to this project, and so now I'm going to try to figure out a way to get this speaker into here. As you can see, bad. What I'm going to end up using, I bought a piece of plywood. I'm using wood because it's a little more sturdy than like sheet metal. If he had thick enough metal, it would totally work, but I didn't feel like dealing with it or spending days searching for it. So I'm gonna go just make a ring to mount this speaker into here. It's gonna only extend this out a little bit. Now the problem is, or not necessarily a problem for me, but something you have to keep in mind, is that if you look, if you can see that, there's only a little bit of a gap. Can't even stick my finger in there. It's going to be enough for that piece of wood to get in there, which is really what I'm looking for. This is 1/4 inch thick plywood, so I should be fine. Kind of stuck wedged the corner of it in there. You really can't go any thicker than this because it will not fit. So let me fabricate this and then we will continue here in a second. Alright, so there's the final product of the speaker box. Pain in the ass. I'm sure you can find something better than this. It's just a very weird shape. Required a lot of modification. And I used, as you can see, a piece of plastic that I got from a car audio store. My recommendation to you, just get a 6.5 inch speaker because it should fit right in. I did not have that luxury because I did not know how large the hole was until I pulled it apart and already had it ordered, so yeah, fuck me. Moving on. Alright, so it's been a few weeks since I started the initial part of this video. Wasn't even going to post it, but kind of an epic fail. Not really fail, backtracked. Point is, didn't end up installing the the speakers and the amp, because after I kind of bench tested it, it did not sound as good as the stock did. So if there's any lesson from this, it's buy a bigger amp, buy bigger speakers, 6.5 inch speakers, and larger amp, larger than 150 at least. Try a 300 watt amp at least. I did leave the wires in there, so the power wire is coiled up, fuse is pulled, so there's no power coming up here. But if I ever get around to buying the one I want to put in here, all I gotta do is take the cover off, hook it up. Really, only about another hour of work. Have my amp and speakers installed again. But probably gonna sell or donate these other ones. See what's up. See who wants them. Yep, that is all. See you guys later.